Here in square matrix, let us continue with the square matrix. You can see the order of this of the matrix, that is number of row is equal to number of column. What it has um, condition that the number of rows should be equal to the number of column. It satisfies the satisfy the condition, so it is a square matrix. One note is this: see, in a square matrix, the elements starting from top to right bottom, that is from left, what is that, the element starting from the left top, that is left top, to the right bottom, is called principal diagonal. These are the principal diagonal elements. In this there are this is the principal diagonal element from the left top to the right bottom. In the above example, principal diagonal elements are, in here it is 5 and 0 is a principal element in the matrix of A. In the matrix of B, the principal diagonal elements are 5, 8, 6. Rectangular matrix. A matrix in which the number of rows is not equal to the number of columns is called rectangle. It is the opposite of square matrix. Where here, what is this condition? There in square matrix, the number of rows is equal to the number of columns. But in the rectangular matrix, the number of here it is opposite, that number of rows is not equal to number of columns. Let us see. For example, this 5, 3, 1, 0, 5, 8, the order of the order is the 2 rows and 3 columns, so it is not equal, the rows is not equal to the number of columns. Then it is a rectangular matrix. Here also the number of rows is number of rows, 3 rows are there, and the column is 2, only 2 column, 1 2 columns. So it satisfies the condition of number of rows is not equal to the number of columns. Let us move on to the diagonal matrix. Our diagonal matrix is a square matrix in which all the elements are 0 except the principal diagonal elements. Which are the principal diagonal elements? Here 3 and 5. Left the element starting from the left top to the right bottom. What is the example given here? A is equal to 3, 0, 0, 7. So here the principal diagonal elements are 3 and 7. What is the condition given? A square matrix in which all the elements are 0. All the elements are 0. Okay, two elements are over here, two elements are 0 above and below the principal diagonal, except the principal diagonal elements. So it satisfies the conditions that a principal element should be of some numbers and other elements should be 0. Except the principal element, other elements should be 0. Okay. In this example, in the matrix B, what is given, it also should satisfy this. First, it should satisfy the square matrix. It is given. See here, it should be of square matrix. Okay, is a square matrix. Okay, number of rows is equal to number of columns. Okay, it is a square matrix. We'll got to know that this is a square matrix. Okay, then which all the elements are, in which all the elements are 0. Oh, okay, 0. Except the principal diagonal should be of some numbers and other elements should be 0. Okay, it's satisfied. Here it's also square matrix. It satisfies first condition, and except the principal diagonal, all elements are 0. Okay, so diagonal matrix. Then it comes to the scalar matrix. What is a scalar matrix? Our diagonal matrix in which all the principal diagonal elements are equal is called scalar matrix. It is a diagonal matrix. What is diagonal matrix? A square matrix. What is diagonal matrix? A square matrix in which all the elements are 0 except the principal diagonal. Okay, in which all, but in scalar matrix, the principal diagonal element should be of same element. It should be equal. 3 if there is 3, 3. If there is 1, 1. If there is 2, 2. Here also, it should be of diagonal matrix. Then it should be a square matrix. First, if it should be a diagonal matrix, then it should be of same square matrix, and it should satisfy that above and below the principal diagonal it should be of 0. And the principal diagonal element should be of some kind. Then we come to unit or identity matrix. It is also a diagonal matrix in which all the principal diagonal elements are equal to 1 is called unit or identity matrix. It is denoted by I. Okay, it is denoted by I. It is a diagonal matrix. What is diagonal matrix? It should be first a square matrix. It is a square one. Number of elements is equal to number of rows. Number of rows is equal to number of columns. Then it should the principal above and below the principal diagonal. It should be of 0. It's a square matrix, and above and should have a zeros above and lower the principal diagonal. And extra point is here it is identity matrix, so the principal element should be 1 equals to 1. Okay, it's also it should be of square matrix. 3 is number of rows is equal to number of columns. Then all the elements are zeros except the principal diagonal elements. Okay, it satisfies the diagonal matrix conditions, and then we should see it is identity matrix, so the principal diagonal element should be equal to 1 1 1 1. Upper triangular matrix. A square matrix is called upper triangular matrix. See here, it is not a diagonal matrix. Upper triangle a square matrix is called upper triangular matrix if all the elements below principal diagonal are zeros. So here we have an example of a matrix A equals to 2A508. It should be of square matrix. First condition is it should be of square matrix. Okay, it satisfies that condition. But here the new condition is that the elements upper and of the principal diagonal except the principal diagonal and above the principal diagonal other elements are zeros. Except the principal diagonal and above the principal diagonals, all elements are zeros. Here also, it should be a square matrix, and only below the principal diagonal elements, principal elements are should be 0. Below the principal diagonal, it should be 0 elements. Below the principal diagonal elements are zeros. All elements below principal diagonals elements are zeros. Lower triangle matrices. A square matrix. A square matrix is called the lower triangular matrix if all the elements above the principal diagonal elements are zeros. Here, it should be of square matrix. Okay, it also square matrix. All the elements above the principal diagonal elements should be only that should be 0. Okay, satisfies. All the elements above the principal diagonal elements should be zeros. Then it's always termed as lower triangular matrix. This will continue with the next video.